You're muted, Jeremy.
Thank you, Carlos. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the class, Find the Pants at the Appointment. I'm Jeremy Nason. I'm one of the coaches here at the Insurance Pro Shop. Some of the stuff you're going to hear today is probably something you've never heard before. So I want you to be open-minded and really think about how this can apply to your situation. There is so much different information out there that can help you grow your business if you want to really learn how to take action and learn how to communicate with your prospects. There's so many changes happening right now, and I want to take a few minutes to explain what's going on in the industry. There's a huge change coming in June, where lead companies are going to be no longer allowed to sell leads as they sell them today. There's going to be a lot of change to the lead markets. So it is incredibly important now to learn how to communicate and create organic conversations to get sales opportunities. All right. So that's what we're spending a lot of time on today. For the next 45 minutes, we're going to talk about how to really generate organic sales opportunities. And to qualify what I'm saying is I have a couple of agents I've been training and mentoring recently that I've put through a very simple process, okay, of just teaching them to create a question chain to set appointments. All right. And in those chains and in those conversation points, whether they're doing them organically face-to-face, over the phone, at the supermarket, whatever, they're generating large appointments. One of them, my coach from the Miami area, has already had 25 appointments in the last month and a half, 2 months, and closed over $50,000 in premium. My other agents are still getting started. They've just done their first SPAC finds. They're brand new to the business, so there's some growing pains there. But the agents I've taught this to, some of them are top table producers, core table producers. All right, that's some of the top agents in our industry. All right, so what we're going to talk about in the next 45 minutes in a lot of detail is how to really set up with everybody you talk to. I'm going to give you some examples of how to do that. But to do that, you have to have some basic knowledge of our industry. So one thing we'll talk about also is what problems you can solve for your prospects. We'll talk about how to use questions to get the prospect to see and understand the problems they're facing. We'll talk about how to use questions to help the prospect answer their own objections, how to eliminate objections before they even happen. I hate objection handling. I hate all those techniques where I have to do funny things and say stupid things and remember things to say, where if you ask enough questions, you don't get objections. And I'm going to show you that. How to use questions to help prospects close themselves on the appointment. How to use the questions to get them to say yes to sitting and meet with you. All right. So let's get started on some of these topics, some of these points. But I want to tell you a quick story about how I learned this and where this came to be. So many, many years ago, for those who don't know, I've been in the business. I just ended my 30th year in the business. All right. Back when I started back in the 94, 95 years, 96 years, I got licensed and I failed miserably. My dad was a top producer, one of the top recruiting GAs in the country. And I wanted to do it my way. I can't work with dad. All right. So I failed miserably. But I always went to his trainings. He held in his office, and me and this other agent, Alfer, odd name, wonderful guy. Alfer been in the business a couple of years longer than I had been in the Medicare business, got burned out by it, and wanted to start doing life and started making change. He was 26 years old. Right. So me and Alfer are sitting in Lou's office, and Lou is telling us, the night before, just before me and Alfer did a call session. And for those who are old in the business, remember the old calling nights where you sit at your desk and you dial for dollars for hours on end till you find 5 appointments. That was our goal, is 5 new appointments, as always. And me and Alfred couldn't buy an appointment. All right. So we went to Lou's office, hanging our heads, miserable the next morning. And Lou says, what's going on? Well, we made, 500, 1,000 phone. We don't even know how many calls we made, and we couldn't book a single appointment, because we were doing term flyers, we were doing all kinds of things, and it wasn't working. So losing his office saying, hey, Guys, you're making it harder than it needs to be. All right. And if you ask enough questions, you can set a point to anybody. And we're like, and he's explaining this whole process to him, and it's falling on deaf ears. He's getting these blank stares from me and Alfred, and just getting, nothing back from us. So we go downstairs. That's why the parking garage is on the screen here, and that's where our smoking area was in the garage. I smoked cigars and cigars, whatever it was at that time. We go to the parking garage in the smoking area, and it's right beside the elevator, right? So he's sitting there, he's getting pissed off at us. He's getting angry, and basically yelling at us. If you ask a question, you can point to anybody. And we're like, no, you can't. It doesn't work that way. So a lady walks out of the elevator, and he turns around and said, "Miss, if you don't mind me asking, do you have a retirement plan?" And she goes, "No." He goes, "May I ask why you don't have a retirement plan?" "Well, I can't afford it." "Well, how do you feel about not having a plan for your future?" "Well, I really don't like it, but I can't think about it." "Well, let me ask you, did you spend $20 last week you could have saved?" And she said, "Yes, of course." "And did you save $20 the week before that? And the week before that?" "So the last month you spent $8 you could have saved for your retirement. Is that money more important where you spend it or for your retirement plan?" And he made an appointment with her immediately. All right. So I'm trying to turn this dang ringer off. 2 seconds here. Sorry about that. So he said they appointment right then and there. And so we talked, so that we talked, Lou's still talking to us, and he asks, we're still following a deaf. It's not that easy. She was canned. She was role playing with you. She's a salesperson herself, whatever. Well, he did it again and again and again. He did about 5 or 6 times, set 5, 6 appointments for people just walking off the elevators, asking them, "Hey," and asking a question: retirement plan, life insurance, disability. He talked to the lawyer about about the buy sell, just off the elevator. No prompting, no nothing, just asking questions. So in the end of it, me and Alf started seeing the light a little bit. We started seeing this come to fruition. Maybe this does have some merit. So we sat for a couple hours thinking of what questions we can ask our prospects. We come up with a couple ideas. Lou gave us a few scripts to try, and it made an immediate impact, immediate change to what we were doing. Okay. It went from me setting no appointments, setting, 1 out of 5 appointments, 2 out of 5 appointments, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 4 to 10 of people I'm talking to. It changed my entire business by just learning how to ask the emotional questions, not just the how much you have in your 401k questions, but the emotional questions to get people to see the problem they have. All right. So overall, do you want to make it easier to set appointments to everybody you talk to? What would that mean to your business? If you could talk to 10 people and set 9 appointments, what would that do for you? How much more time will you have? How much money will you save on buying leads? How much stress that eliminate? Time, money, stress. These are things we can't buy back. But the ability, I'm married, I have 3 kids. I had 2 at the time. And me spending hours on the phone at night was taking away from what I could be with my family. It was taking away everything I was doing. And the stress was causing myself, which trickles to my wife and my kids, because I'm having to prospect longer. I'm not home as much. It creates a toxic situation. So if we want to be better than we are, we have to make sacrifices. We have to make changes to what we do. So how do we get there? How do we get to this next step? Well, we have to help people identify and solve their financial problems. If if we can help people solve their problems, wouldn't it be easier to get an appointment? Wouldn't it be easier to make the transaction? So if people don't see the problems they face, and how you can help them, why should they want to meet with you? Is there any reason for them to meet with you because of you being a nice guy or gal? No. We have to help them see a problem they're facing. If we can find the problem, if we can find the problem they're facing, we can create an opportunity, sales opportunity to help them solve it. So setting the appointment is the first sale to the prospect. You're selling them on why they should meet with you. And here's the problem. Most agents are only trying to convince the prospect why should meet with them because they're selling a product or service. Then, by telling them why or how important life insurance is, or why it's about the Allianz 222 or the Silac Denali 10 or whatever it is, products are relevant. It's a problem we have to help people face and solve. Bring it to the surface. So if you want people to meet with you consistently, I mean, everybody you talk to can be a prospect. Not that you want everybody as a prospect, but if you could talk to your targeted prospects and set more appointments, more conversions for every 10 prospects you see, how much better off would you be? But how do we do this? Well, we must reach on an emotional level. We got to get them thinking about the problems they're facing and how to get them to take ownership of the problems. So our average family is struggling financially. More today than any time in history, we've had, people struggling to pay bills. Inflation's killing families. I mean, how much has our average food bill gone up in the last 2 years, 3 years? Mortgage prices have skyrocketed. And yet less people have less and less insurance. So how many families would be in trouble with the death or illness of a breadwinner of the family? How many families are struggling with mortgage payments? Bankruptcies are up this year by almost 5% over last year. Foreclosures are up. How many families would like to pay off the home early or try to pay the home off early? Make extra mortgage payments every month. Creating an even bigger toxic situation for them if something happens. I have to pay for the kids' college. And my go-to is, having issues with retirement plan or saving for retirement. The average Gen X person right now, that's my generation, that born 1976 and up, whatever it is. I can't remember what the Gen X demographics are. But the Gen X family typically only has $61,000 saved for retirement. That's it. So what are they going to do when they retire in 20 years? Millennials are even worse. And the generation before that, it's what I call my lost generation. The Gen Z is they're clueless about how money works right now, unfortunately. So there's so many problems we can help our families face and solve. Again, middle income families, I deal with younger families typically, 35 to 55. That's my demographic that I work. But some of you guys work with seniors. How many of your seniors are outliving their money? That's the biggest fear in retirement right now for people who are already retired. Will my money last? One of my favorite quotes, and where this kind of ties in, is people don't buy because they're made to understand. They buy because they feel understood. So when you're talking to people, and if you're just throwing up on them like we're taught by some of the FMOs and IMOs and carriers, the carrier speak to throw up how great our product is and how great our services are, well, we ask a few general questions, but they're real targeted transactional questions. People don't buy. People buy when they feel understood. When they understand we understand their problem, they're going to want to fix it. Let me tell you another quick story. Okay. If you go to Home Depot, Ace Hardware, Lowe's, whatever, all right, and you go to like typical salesperson, you go and ask where's a quarter inch drill bit? What do they tell you? Well, it's down on aisle 9, halfway down, whatever. Right? That's typical what our transactional agents are doing. We're asking a couple of questions to get them to say, hey, you need this drill bit. Here's how great my drill bit is. You should buy this drill bit because it will have 22% more traction. It will last 22% more longer. That's what we're hearing. That's what people are getting. But as a good salesperson, what could you ask to help people understand, help people feel understood? Because if you're looking for a quarter inch drill, what are you really needing? Needing a hole, a quarter inch hole, right? So if you need a quarter inch hole, you need a quarter inch drill bit, which is fine. But what are some questions you're going to ask? Well, first of all, the first one I would ask as a salesperson, okay, so you need this quarter inch drill bit, do you have the right type of drill? Do you have a drill at all? You have one of those old 1920s hand crank drills? Do you have an impact? Do you have a traditional drill, brushless? Do you have a hammer drill? What kind of drill do you have? What kind of material are you trying to drill into? There's variables in every situation, especially in the financial services industry. We have variables. So you need a hole. How many holes do you need? You buy a cheap drill, you buy a expensive drill bit. What type of material? What kind of bit? Wood bit, concrete bit, self-tapping metal bit. There's all kinds of different options there. So we have to help people understand the problem they have. Remember, telling is not selling. You must get the prospect to understand and tell you why it's important to them. When you peel the onion back and you ask the emotional questions, people open up and tell you what you need to do to sell them. And if they're telling you what you need to do to sell them, are you going to have any objections to what they tell you? Are they going to object to what they said to do? No. If you tell people what their problem is, you're just on the pushy salesperson trying to make an appointment, trying to make a sale. Again, how many people want to see a pushy salesperson? Nobody. I don't want to be that guy. When we're told to do something, if I have Mr. Ed Taylor on the call with us today, so I'm going to pick on Ed for a minute here. So Ed's heard this 1,000 times probably. So Ed, if I told you need to lose 30 pounds, what's your reaction to that?
I'm not going to lose it because you told me.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. So when we're told something, we have two reactions. We can either accept it or reject it. Right? So if we accept it, we're just going by what people say to tell us to do, which doesn't happen very often. It can happen. But if I asked you instead of saying, Ed, you lose 30 pounds, Ed, if you were 20 or 30 pounds lighter, how much more energy would that give you back? Would that allow you to have more time with your kids and grandkids?
Mm-hmm.
Would some of your aches and pains dissipate if you weren't as heavy? How do you feel about that? You get people really thinking about how it affects them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can do that with anybody you talk to, you can make a huge impact on their lives. One of my agents I'm coaching, I tell you about earlier about a couple of agents I've been working with. And one of them, just before Christmas, all right, we worked on those question chains. We built the chains of questions to ask him that he could go and talk to people and have a track to follow. A track is important. I hate scripts. Absolutely hate them. Okay. I don't mind building tracks that can help you internalize and really be able to stay on a path when you're going through a conversation. Conversations are our sales opportunities. Okay, so with Mr. Jarvis, you know, we went through the conversations. When he went, I told him to go to his Christmas. He had a Christmas party that Saturday night. He learned 2 question chains. I told him to work on just this one, his Cheeto inflation. And I don't have it memorized. I have to get him on the call to go over with you guys one day. But so I sent him on to this Christmas party at his gym where he works out, and I want him to talk to 10 people. Just create a conversation and interject a couple of your questions to see if you can get an appointment. All right. He walked out talking to 10 people, made 2 appointments, being practically brand new in the business. All right. Sunday, he goes to the dog park where he walks. He makes 2 more appointments talking to people at the dog park. So in a matter of 2 hours of talking, he made 4 appointments without spending $1 on a lead, without chasing people, without blowing up people's phones, just having conversations. All right. To be successful in this business, all you have to do is create conversations. That's all you have to do. But you have to be able to ask the right questions to your ideal prospects so they want to meet with you. All right. So if you want your prospects to meet with you, you need to show them what's in it for me. WIIFM. All right. What's in it for them? What are they going to get from meeting with you? You know, I tell a lot of my agents in my classes I do every week that I have all kinds of signs in my office, all kinds of little notes hanging around. And one of the signs I keep my office every day to look at is it's right here to my right, WIIFM. What's in it for me? What's in it for the people I'm helping? What's in it for the people I'm serving? What's in it for the prospects I'm trying to talk to? What are they going to get from me? You know, that's why people buy. That's what people want to meet with you. But you need to get them emotionally involved so they want to take immediate action. Not passive. We want to be active in doing this to create the emotional connection so they want to do business. That's all about asking questions. That's all this is about. And it's uncomfortable for some people to ask questions. It's a different thought process. You know, it's a different belief pattern a lot of times. People get stuck. We get stuck. You know, the reason most agents fail in this business is not from knowledge. It's not from lack of skill. It's mindset. It's the belief they have in their mind that's telling them they're going to fail from the start. It's the belief in their mind that I don't want to impose on people. You know, so one of my agents I'm coaching, and we were talking about the questions. It says, Jeremy, I just can't ask this one question. I can't get it out of my mouth. And it's one of the best questions to ask is, how do you feel about that? And it can be tough. It can be a block there because you're opening yourself up to an emotional answer. And some people can't handle it or are afraid of it. All right. But if you can start asking those questions, and I'm going to show you 2 that you should be asking everybody. I'm going to show you a soft fact. So the questions are broken into 3 categories that I use. Okay. You have your hard fact questions, you have your soft fact questions, and you have your qualifying questions. All right. There's also a strategy question or an action question we can throw in there, but we're going to leave this to another conversation. Let's keep it basic for now. All right. So here's a simple, again, I hate scripts. This is one Lou wrote 30 years ago, 35 years ago. Still works today. I have agents using it all over the country. But, you know, if you, again, you can use this on the phone, you can use this face to face with people, wherever. It's a simple question. If I may ask, do you own a home? It opens a conversation. Great. Do you have a mortgage on your home? Again, another hard fact question. All right. Do you have the type of insurance to pay off your mortgage pay off your mortgage for your family if something were to happen to you? So we're asking if they have the insurance. It's again, yes or no. If they say no, how do you feel about that? What would your family do if you weren't there tomorrow? And have a conversation about it. What would you like to see happen? In your mind's eye, how do you paint that picture? What are they going to do? What's their strategy to avoid this from happening? And the qualifying question, if I can show you the mortgage insurance you need to protect your family and pay off your mortgage 5 to 10 years early without any money in your pocket, would it be worth 40 minutes time to sit down and talk about it? Very, very simple conversation chain that you can do, rinse, repeat, and use 1,000 times. Right? It's simple. It's simple for a reason. I might go over that in a few minutes. Here's another quick little easy script that you can use with people, especially today. Again, and you can steer this 1,000 ways. It doesn't have to be, you can take this and take stock market out and put Bitcoin in there. Your 401k, you could use it 1,000 different ways. If I'm asked, have you lost money in the stock market? When you lost that money, how did it make you feel? Wow, that's a powerful question. How did you feel when you lost that money? I know last year we had a pretty good year in the market. Hopefully it'll keep going up. But what happens if it goes down again? How much of your money are you willing to lose? If you lost 10, 15, 20% in the market, in your 401k, in your IRA, whatever it's in, how will that affect your future income? What happens? How much would that affect your income if the market dips for another couple of years? We have a couple of years lost that we had in 2000. How's it going to affect your retirement? Would you have to postpone your time and go back to work? How do you feel about that? You have that conversation, ask the emotional questions, get them to understand the problem they face. And when you see that pain in their eyes, in their language, in their body language, the scare, the fear, the pain, you have them. Then it's asking a basic question from there. If I could lock in your returns and position your money so you cannot lose any more, but still the potential upsides of the market, what percent I'm talking about? Simple conversation. All right. But with anything you learn, there's always some common mistakes we can make. There's always a few mistakes, right? And again, try this out. Even if you just ask in your current script you're using, just add a few questions. I had a lady with FFL, one of the bigger IMOs out there, using their standard mortgage protection script. And I said, I won't look at the agent's name or anything else. I said, hey, if you just add a few questions to this, it's not great, but it'll definitely increase your sales. It'll definitely increase what you're doing, increase your conversions. And I taught her to ask how would you feel about that? What would you like to see happen? Just those two questions, and it increased her conversions by 50%. So now I cut her lead cost in half. Think she's happy? Think she's making more money? Making more sales? Absolutely. All right. All right. So some mistakes to avoid. One, the first one, I don't have it on here. I gotta update the slide for this one. and I know I have the word appointment in the title of this thing, but never ask for an appointment. Take the word appointment out of your lingo, out of your language. When you say the word appointment, if you really think about the word appointment and how people react to it, when people go out make an appointment, what are they typically going to see? Doctor, attorney, lawyer, CPA, tax preparer, all painful experiences, right? Do people like going to painful experiences? People avoid pain and seek what? Pleasure, right? So get rid of the word appointment and make it a conversation or time to sit down and talk about it. That right there will probably increase your points by 10% just by making that one single word change. Right. Another mistake, don't use technical jargon. Deferred compensation. We don't talk about deferred interest rates. Take all these, betas, rates, caps, focuses, product names. Take all this out of your equation. Put everything in simple layman's terms. Not that our clients are stupid, but if you keep it simple, everyone's gonna understand it. Don't use prodigious words, big words. Zig Ziglar says if you write and speak at a sixth grade level, even the college professors will understand you. Right? Keep it really simple, especially depending on the clients you work with. Now, if you're dealing with higher end college graduate MBAs, these high end people, you may have to talk in a little bit different language. But for the average people you work with, keep it simple. Let them be able to understand. Don't try to be, that is the point number one. Don't try to impress people. Don't try to be over, talk over people's heads and show them how great you are. It doesn't help anybody. We want to be, we want to feel like we're above everybody, whether we're doing the work, we're doing all the stuff, but be at their level. Be them. Put yourself in their shoes. All right. Don't tell them anything. Ask. If there's anything you have to say, change to a question. Lead them to that point. Don't give them a sales spiel. Those pitches. Well, here's why you should buy my product. Here's why my Allianz to do is so good. Here's why we should sell it. Have a conversation. People will buy more conversation than else, even if you have no knowledge. I had a lady I taught this 2 years ago up Massachusetts who has absolutely zero knowledge of this business. She was a final expense agent moving into traditional life insurance. She knew nothing about life insurance on my side. But yet, by just asking questions, creating conversations, she had more appointments she could handle with zero knowledge of this business, with zero knowledge of product. She couldn't do basic math, but she's making tons of appointments. Right? You can't wing this. You have to rehearse it. All right. When I started learning this, I had Alfred and my brother Will, and we practiced all the time. When we moved to Georgia, me and brother played a question game constantly to always hone our skills. And it was very simple. The first one who made a statement lost. We're very competitive people. We want to throw each other off. So we're asking all kinds of questions as in a fun way. Even they're not business related, it's a fun question to ask. Why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? These kind of questions to kind of throw each other off. But we internalize the philosophy of asking the questions. The how, the whys, the who's, the whens, the wheres. And when you internalize those pieces, you can create a question out of anywhere. All right. Don't try to impress people. Keep it simple. I always hear fake till you make it, dress to impress, all these different things, and I think it's all BS, right? So one of my top agents years ago, it's a quick story. um, named Phil, and Phil got his life license, didn't have a health license, and he's like, Jeremy, I need to go out and write a DI policy for me. I don't have a license, and you can just take the commission and run with it. Like, whatever, Phil, just I'll sign a DI app and get it done. I have to meet the client and we'll go through it real quick. So that's fine, but I have a unique way I go to my clients' homes, because Phil's one of the guys that dresses in a three-piece suit, bow tie, the whole nine. He says, I want you dressed to the hilt. We're seeing a PGA golf pro. Fine with that. I don't care. When we get to the home, I want you to follow my lead. And I'm like, whatever, Phil, just tell me, you tell me what to do. I'm doing it. It's free money. It's easy. The client said yes to buying it. It's a done deal, right? So Phil goes in this home, and in a three-piece suit, shakes people's hands, and immediately starts breaking down his outfit, taking off his bow, loosening his bow tie, taking off the jacket, rolling up the sleeves, taking off his shoes, and comes down to their level within like 2 or 3 minutes. So I follow the same lead: break down the suit, take the tie off, loosen, roll the sleeves up, like we got into business, and get on the level. And it became a very simple appointment from there. Wear them. We're in the same shoes they are. So don't try to impress people. Keep it really simple. And just interact on their level. Carlos, I got your email. I'm gonna answer that in a minute here. All right. So with everything we've gone, I hope you can see by going through this that you can set up on anybody if you really ask the right questions. What problems you can solve for your prospect. Because again, there's so many different opportunities for life insurance out there. I'm talking just life as a whole for a minute. Income protection, income replacement, death of a loved one, college plan, retirement plan. There's so many opportunities there. And again, I got chastised recently by my group about talking about passion, about finding a want or a need or a niche to work. But if you find something that you really like doing, that you really love to talk about, if you can monetize it, monetize it. Make a focus out of it. Find those processes, have a conversation with them. One of my guys in Miami, Seth, had a coaching call this morning, and he's I don't know how to explain this. I love him to death. Very not boastful, but very commanding presence. But he has an engineer mindset, and he's like, Jeremy, I just want to work with engineers. I said, then do it. Go after engineers solely as your practice. There's nothing wrong with that. Know your market. Know how to talk to them. Help people understand the problems they're facing. That's the biggest takeaway from this whole thing. If you can help people peel just a layer of the onion back, pull on one of the heartstrings, they're gonna want to meet with you. They're gonna want to fix the problem. When you have a pipe burst in your house, who do you call immediately? You call the plumber. Do you call the plumber prior to the pipe breaking? No. We call when we have something to fix. So our job is to help people see the problem they're already facing. Most people don't know that they have this problem. But if we can help them see the problem they're facing, they're going to want to take action to fix it. If you ask questions, you don't get objections. Very, very rarely. If you really learn to ask the questions and you get people to understand the problems they're facing, and you can show them, and I'm going to teach that next, is how to avoid the money conversation. Because if you tell me they got to spend money, they're going to say no. I'm trying to avoid that. But if you learn to ask the right question, you don't have objections. And if you use questions, that applies to everybody. I don't care if you're somewhere in a public supermarket. See, for me, I do this more for fun now. I don't have time to do a lot of private sales right now with my time coaching and so forth. I like testing things, I like pushing the envelope. So if I'm in the bowling alley bowling on Thursday nights, I'm asking people questions about their finances. I'm strategizing new ways to ask it, new thought processes, and I have fun with it. Right? My dad, retired. Right? Most people know who Nason is. Those who don't, he's one of the top producers, one of the top GAs that ever worked in the insurance industry. He was my partner, my co-founder of the pro shop. All right. And even to this day, he's 76 years old, retired. And he's told me the other day, he says, Jeremy, I was talking to the nurse, I set an appointment. I need help building the case. He did the fact find. He hasn't run an insurance illustration software in 25 years. So I got to help him build cases. But he's out there at 76 just talking to people. He's not prospecting. He's having fun. Have fun with this. Go into your market as you're talking to people. If you find something that fits your demographic, fits your market, have a conversation. And just, if you create the opportunities will come. All right. So I'm gonna teach you one of the two other things right now. I'm gonna teach you my philosophy of why people buy, because when you understand the thought process of people, it makes the process of selling them that much easier. Right? Because people don't buy based on logic. People buy based on emotion and justify the decision based on logic. All right. So if we know that's the case, that's the philosophy. We know how people rationalize things. How many times you go into a store and bought something off the shelf? Right? You go buy that candy bar. Why did you buy that candy bar? Because it gives you pleasure. If you buy it based on emotion, it gives you pleasure to eat that candy bar. Right? And then we have to justify it in our mind, can we afford the candy bar? Should I buy this candy bar? And we rationalize 1,000 ways on why we should do it. Right? When we go buy a car, do we buy what we need or what we want? Buy what we want. So when I went out and bought my 2014, I bought a pickup truck a couple of years ago, and I wanted it. I had a need for it, but I mostly wanted it. And I bought it because I loved it. It made me feel good. It solved a problem I had. The emotional side of it. Logically, did it make sense? It was a stretch. It was financially a stretch for us. We made it work. People buy based on emotional differences, based on logic. So when we go to close a sale, so we know that's the cost. So if we use emotion to get the appointment, we use logic to close it at the end, right? People buy what they want. Want is an emotion. And they need based on logic. A need is logical, right? If I need, for me, I needed my trucks. I bought a camper. I needed a truck to pull said camper. But I could have bought a truck that was cheaper. I could have bought a truck that was way less money. But I bought what I wanted. If we all drove what we needed to drive, we'd all be driving those little smart little cars, look like little push carts, right? 10,000, 12,000 cars, cheapest possible, the plug and play, whatever. But we don't. We drive Mercedes, we drive Lexuses, we drive Toyotas, we drive all these high-end, expensive cars. So we want to drive. All right. So I'm going to share a case with you next that talks about, the other part of the process, right? So we got the appointment. We did the fact find. We peeled the onion back 1,000 layers to get the end result. All right. Now, the end result is I use a 2-page presentation to close every sale. I don't use illustrations. I don't use fancy softwares, the high-end ones, Retilizer, whatever it's called, financial profiles, practice builder, plan builder. I don't use that crap. I use a 2-page Microsoft Word document that I create for every single client. All right. So this is a case Lou ran years ago, but it illustrates just a story we like to tell. It's a cool little story, and there's a whole lot to it. But basically, Heather and Brian, and for those that heard the story before, I apologize. Um, Heather and Brian, Brian was some kind of technician installer for either a sprinkler company or fire extinguishers or something. Heather was a school teacher. Heather was pregnant with a second or third child, and they were out. The agent got the appointment to go out and sell health insurance. Now, one thing, when my dad was an IMO, a recruiter and trainer, one thing he always told us is, again, if you ask enough questions, you can sell whole life to anybody. Whole life was our big go-to in our agency at the time. This is back in 1992, or 2002, one of the two. And whole life was the end all be all. And it was a time where index life had just come out, and we had an index whole life, which I'll explain in a few minutes. But so the agent said, the agent talked to the fan, talked to Heather and Brian. Heather's mom was a prime market agent who sold them term insurance, and they didn't do any investing. And they did a little bit of investing stuff with her, and it wasn't working out real well. This is, so right after the market crashed in 2002. So Nick comes back, the agent, and tells Lou, hey, I couldn't get him to get the appointment for the life insurance. So basically, put your money where your mouth is. Help me sell this client. Help me, show me how to get the appointment to sell the life insurance or create the life insurance opportunity. So my dad did. Went out there and had a conversation. Don't talk about life insurance. We're not gonna buy a life insurance today. We have Primerica. We're happy with what we have. And he asked a few questions about, well, if I can find a cheaper rate of insurance, I can lower the rate for you. Would you be interested in doing that? And going through all the different conversations we had during our fact find about their assets, their 401k. We talked about retirement with them. They want to start a Roth IRA for $200 a month, and so we had some opportunities here. So after our fact find, we go back to our office. We create these plans. All right. So page 1 of the plan is all about the emotion, things we talked about during the sales fact, during the fact find, during the appointment setting process, things they said that were important to them. Again, we want to use their own words against them. If we use their words, can they object to it? All right. So page 1 is all about the emotion. One of their prime was to save money for retirement. Put $2,000 in a Roth IRA. They had family protection. Brian had 500,000. Heather had 250. They wanted to stop the market losses on Heather's 401k and 403b. Brian's simple in stocks, and they need disability protection. Right. They want to save money for college. They had two kids, one more on the way. They wanted to refinance their home, reduce income taxes, and they had a buy sell, which I'm not going to go into this conversation. Longer conversation. But we use their date of births or all their Brian's a smoker, what we use for the plan. If they had assets, we put assets down here and so forth. And the needs overview. Again, we're trying to illustrate why. The emotional side of the why. If Brian's hurt, disability insurance will help him replace his income. Because they're fearful if he falls off a ladder, what's going to happen? And it happens. I fell off a ladder 2 years ago working at a home, my father-in-law's house, and I broke my back. It's more common now that people my age will get hurt doing something stupid, trying to help somebody. I work my father-in-law's property. He has no insurance, no home insurance. It's a long story there. And I fell and broke my back. So I was out of pocket thousands of dollars. I missed half a month of work. When I did go back, I was still only 50%, if that. So having these conversations to deal with the problem people are having, we want to get the emotional drawn up into it. Now, so we go over this during the second interview with people. We do a 2-call close. So when we're going over this part with them, what are we trying to accomplish? We're trying to get back in the same emotional state that we were during the fact find. trying to bring that emotion back to the surface so that they're all emotional and ready to have that conversation again. Then we go into logic. All right. Now, when I'm doing the logic, I cover this portion up. I only show them that I go section by section with them. All right. And again, it's just a simple reading of this document from here. Heather, you know, O'Brien, you have a 20-year term with Primerica. It's costing about $900 a year. Well, the next 20 years is going to cost you $16,500. At the end, you're going to get nothing back. And Heather, you have a term policy, $200,000. It's going to cost blah, 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 right? So line by line. All right. So in total, you're spending $3,000 to have $750,000 in coverage. It's going to cost you $60,400 overall to make about $9,000, to have about 69,000 by the end of 20 years. All right. That's a good start, but we can do a little better. All right. So we're proposing a Maris Index Life. You're going to spend the same $3,020 a year, not a penny more, not a penny less. You'll have the same exact coverages, 500 on you, Brian, 250 on you, Heather. We're going to spend the same $60,400, not a penny more, not a penny less. The difference is at the end of 20 years, you're going to have $86,000. You know, so which, you know, overall, do you want to make 9,000 or 26,000? Which plan makes more sense to you? What plan do you think they took? Logical one. Same money. But I make more? Who's going to say no to that? All right. Again, so if you have people, if you can find people that have and get their problem brought to the surface, and we can show them a way to make it make sense to them, how can they not buy? All right. So this training is really important, guys. Obviously, you know, I go through this a couple times a year. We talk about this. In my classes, I talk about this on a weekly basis about why questions are so important, why conversations are so important. And, you know, learning this stuff is there's lots of resources out there. All right. And I'm gonna share two with you right now. One is our How to Close 9 out of 10 fact finding program. Right. It's 8+ hours of Lou, my dad, going through the question technique. Right. If you've not watched Lou's video, Lou is not a dynamic speaker, but he does a great job explaining the concepts, the whys, the hows, the whys, everything that's going to help you grow your knowledge base and help you internalize these teachings. All right. With that, you get 3 months of coaching with myself, one-on-one, not a group setting, just one-on-one coaching to help you fine-tune your concepts, fine-tune your questions, role play it out, become well rehearsed. You get one-on-one case preps with me for the first 3 months. So as you're going out doing fact finds, building cases, send the fact finds to me, we build them together, show you illustrations, how to build the 2-page, you know, and how to really showcase what you're trying to really help your clients do. All right. Now, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything else. When I do these case designs, it usually is a lot more commissions for you. I'm going to show you how to set it up in a better way to optimize what they're doing that really helps you increase your commissions and also helps you do what the client needs to be done first. The client always comes first, then you. So we want to make sure to maximize both sides of the equation. All right. It has 9-day money back guarantee. So if by the 9 days you're not making your money, send it back, but give your money back. All right. You can get that information by going to insuranceperfect.com/FTP at the bottom of the screen. All right. The other way you can do this is through our resource center. All right. The resource center is about $40 a month, or $9.95 a month, and you get access to a lot of material and questions, some of the older versions of the recordings, and we do 4 live group coachings a month on case design, on questions, on marketing, on sales skills, open Q&As, the whole nine. All right, $40 a month, it's hard to beat that training. I don't know anywhere you can get group training for $40 a month besides us. All right. Um, Again, thank you guys. I know you took time out of your schedule to come out and meet with me today and talk about some of this stuff. If you have any questions, you can give me a call anytime. Go to the pro shop and put a question form in. We're here to answer any questions you have. If you have questions now, please unmute yourself and put your camera on. We'll talk for a few minutes. All right. I know we have 2 questions in the chat already. More of an advanced topic. One of the things we teach in the marketing side of this is doing a heartfelt letter. All right. And a heartfelt letter is a easy introduction to some of the problems our families face. We're putting it on paper and putting it in front of them what they should, what they should be thinking about, basically. We're kind of telling them without telling them. Okay. And the key to that letter is following up with a phone call. So whether you're sending it via direct message, sending it through email, snail mail, postcard, greeting card, whatever you're sending out to your prospects with those points, you want to follow up with a couple of questions. All right. So some of the questions, again, when I'm doing that follow-up call, it's, hey, Mr. Smith, this is Jeremy Nason. I sent you a letter last week. It was in a bright pink envelope. Did you receive it? Do you have a chance to read it? And it's yes or no, right? If you read it, do you have any questions about what you read? And have a conversation. If they don't have any questions, well, while I'm on the phone, do you mind if I ask a few questions about it? With everything happening in the economy today, how do you feel about your retirement? How prepared are you to retire? If everything on the economy, everything on in the nation, with the debt's going up, we're at $34 trillion in debt. Who's gonna end up paying that debt long term? The government or the people? So if the people got to pay that debt, do you think taxes are gonna be higher or lower in the future? Thank you, Hal. I'll look forward to talking to you. Do you think taxes will be higher or lower in the future? And you have a conversation. Everything we do as advisors, as agents, I love how people say you need to spend $1,000 on marketing. You need to send all these letters, buy all these leads. You don't have to spend a dime. Just talk to people, have great conversations. It's a lost art. Think about it. Today, how I know I've said this as a fact, and I talk to agents. Everybody hates going to Zoom meetings. We're burned out on them. Every flippant meeting we go to is a Zoom meeting. It's no personal interaction anymore. Do people crave personal interaction? And when you can make people feel good about the decision they made, we can congratulate them on something and have a positive conversation that you can steer towards an opportunity. How much more likely you get them to take action? Years ago, I was told, I think it was Ben Feldman had in a book, or one of the Tom Wolfe, John Savage, one of the top guys back then, said, if you ask 100 people if they want to buy life, one will say yes. So me being 19 and green, I went to public supermarket in Stuart, Florida, and I sat up and asked 100 people if they want to buy life insurance. And people said yes, too. Just by asking the question, do you want to buy life insurance? So a simple question can get you there. Now, is that really what you want to do, is talk to 100 people a day and ask how people want life? No. Those are all small sales, more transactional, until you learn how to spin them. But if you learn how to ask questions, create conversations, for me, it's anybody who's in 5 feet of me is in the danger zone. I will ask a question. I don't care. Growing up, I was the guy who took F's in classes for not reading in front of groups. I wouldn't talk to them. Wouldn't say anything if I had to. I wouldn't say anything if I didn't have to. I just sit in the quiet corner, introverted, head down. Hell, when I first started the business, before my first sales appointment, I would throw up before it. I was so nervous. I didn't want to talk to people. I'm scared to do it. Now I give no craps. I talk to anybody in 5 feet of me, 10 feet of me. It doesn't matter. Create a conversation. Have fun with it. Make it a game. We try to make our businesses so strict and so professional. That we forget that we have a life outside of business, and we can have fun with this. So I challenge you. I'll challenge every one of you today when you're out in the field, out talking to people. Just ask a few questions. I'll give you the easiest one to start with. That's my go-to right now. Right? People hate paying taxes. Everybody does. It's tax season. We're getting our W-2s right now, our 1099s. Everybody hates paying taxes. I gotta pay my tax bill. Oh no, what's gonna happen? I don't care. All right. But if you talk to people and ask a few questions, I can guarantee you'll get an appointment today if you talk to 5 people. Right? So if you go and talk to people and say, hey, the government just hit $34 trillion in debt. Who's going to end up paying that debt off? The government or the people? Okay. So it's not falling the people, falling us. Do you think taxes are going to be higher or lower in the future? They're going to say higher. Okay. And I ask people, do you know what the highest marginal tax bracket we've had in this country ever was? It was 95%. So if we go up anywhere near that, how is that tax going to affect your future? If you have to pull out $100 to get to net 5, how long is your money going to last in retirement? And I think the key to it is, if I can show you a way to avoid having to pay out extra taxes and have your money tax free, it is worth having a short conversation. So I challenge you to take that information, especially you, Joe. I'll pick on you for a minute, and go talk to 5 people today. All right. Andy, you had a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeremy, when you about 15 minutes ago when you had the 2-page slide about showing the comparison of what they're currently paying for that term insurance. Yeah, right there. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So you're telling me that's all you use basically when you go back in to kind of close the deal is to use something like this.
Yeah. The only other thing I bring is the illustration. I have the illustration with me, so I have to legally show them the illustration.
Right.
So, all I do is skeletonize it. So, when I show them, show them the amount of money paid. Here's your premium. Here's your premiums paid. Here's the approximate illustrated rate based on the current illustrated rate. Here's your approximate rate of return. I show them the guarantee, and that's it. And I have them sign it.
So you have that basically set up in I think you said you got that's like 2 or 3 pages on a PowerPoint.
It's a total of 4 pages total. Has a pretty cover page, and it has a back page that has a couple advantages of cash value life insurance. Got some other points, but the middle part is just 2 pages. It's emotion and logic.
Right. And so the least inexpensive way for me to get that is to sign up for your program for $40 a month.
Correct.
And I could get all that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Well, thank you. What other questions do we have?
Hey, Jeremy, can I make a comment?
Absolutely, Joe. Go ahead.
Just looking at the same page again, what got me interested in joining to begin with in the first place was when I saw this. And when I heard you say, you know what, the client, the prospect at this point is spending $3,000 per month.
Mm-hmm.
And without spending a penny more, I'll show you a better program.
Yeah.
And then by having this very simple thing is this is what you're doing, and this is what we could be doing and what we could get. And when I saw that you can keep that, see, I never thought when I first got in the business, I never thought you could keep that at 3,000, like if it's $3,000, there's no way I'm gonna show all kinds of way better stuff for the client with just the same amount of money they're selling. But then after going to your class and stuff, you kind of see like, hey, with the same amount of money, I can do a whole bunch of things that you never even thought about.
Oh, it's amazing what you can do for people. You know, we did a case last week. I have it pulled up here still.
And you're still doing the same, you're still giving them what they want because this is what they wanted, and you
Yeah.
never cut down what they bought because, hey, you know, whoever the agent was that sold them their thing, they did a great job because they sold them, you know, they made the client realize the needs, right? Like Heather and Brian, even though it's just a term,
Mhm.
they needed that. So you do the exact same thing. Hey, we're not going to add anything more. We're not going to add anything less. We're going to give you exactly what you have. And yet we're still going to give you something even more than what you exactly have. That's
Absolutely.
what I thought was really neat.
And again, I mean, how many clients fit into this? How many
Almost-
clients have just have some term insurance, group term, have a 401k or IRA they're putting money into? That's the
Mhm.
majority of the population.
Right.
So every case we talk about, we can do the same dang thing every time if we wanted to, or real close to it. Just moving money from A to B. Create a conversation, create a pain point, move money from A to B, makes you money. Easiest formula you can ever follow. And it's repeatable every time. If you just create the conversation first, you lead them down, not lead them, but getting to a point where they have, if you see they have a problem, and we're showing them the reason, the hows, the whys, the emotion, the logic to make them want to make a change. Because people want to avoid pain and seek pleasure. If they see pain in what they're doing, I'm on the, you know, and again, we're congratulating, hey, you're on the right track. You're on a great start. But if there was a better way, you want to know how.
Mhm.
You know, if, by using the same money, not a penny more, penny less. I don't care if it's $100 or $100,000. I do the same thing. Not a penny more, penny less what you're spending now. If anything, I'm putting money back in their pockets. You want to see happy people? I did a case last week for Mika and Mike, the guys in the case. After everything I did for them, I put $4 back in their pocket.
Huh.
And showed them spending $4 less than what they were spending before. How happy is that client? They're
Very.
ecstatic. Absolutely ecstatic. They're gonna have 50K in tax-free income and they put $4 back in my pocket. Dude, you're a hero. And you're a savior for them.
Mhm.
Thanks, Andy. Have a good luck at your appointment. You become a hero to them, and it makes it a no-brainer. But you have to do good fact find. You have to, again, just ask a lot of questions. The who's, the what's, the what, how, the when's, the whys, and help them see the problem. You help see a problem, you got them. 9 times out of 10, you got them. So let me ask you guys, and I tell all my agents this: if you can set 5 appointments a week and close 4 of them, even if your sales only $1,000 a pop, that's $4,000 a week by closing 4 sales. How much money you make that year? That's $200,000.
250, 200 grand.
$200,000 in your pocket. Now, if you sold cases like this, $3,000 a pop, 4 times a week, that's a lot of money in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
How much prospect do you need to make 5 appointments? Not much. Whatever your lead-in is. I have a guy who does mortgages, and he's using mortgages lead-in. Fine. Have a pivot point.
Jeremy,
Yes, Carlos, go ahead.
that's what I wanted to talk to you about. When you mentioned about mortgages, do you still have a mortgage? Do you own a home? I'm still a licensed real estate agent for the last 16 years,
Mhm.
but I kind of fizzled away. I'm really interested in this. I see the benefits behind it, but I would love to learn how to show them how to pay their house off faster, like you mentioned, without changing anything different.
All that it's an easy strategy. It's wonderful. I've taught it to thousands of agents, and it's just showing them, finding where they're wasting money. How
Mhm.
many families put extra money towards the mortgage every month? Tons.
Yeah, a lot of them.
$100 a month to their mortgage. If that money is put in the mortgage and they become sick, disabled, hurt, or whatever, can they get that money back out?
No, sir.
Absolutely not. So if you can show them how to separate that money from their home and put it into a plan that creates a tax-free side fund. So in the event they die, the home is paid off. If they live, they can pay it off 5 to 10 years early and have it not cost them a penny more than they're spending right now. Could you sell that?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now it's the whole life or IUL.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Whatever you want to use. Again, I have guys who use VUL, life, annuities. Does not matter. Because again, it's the process is simple. If you really think about it, let me stop this share for a second and do a little coaching real quick here. Whiteboard.
Right.
Love
'Cause
my
I got access to the title company, and I could go through and hit up a lot of new homeowners.
absolutely great market if it's
And
done right.
I know tons of real estate agents too.
So you have a built-in market. But
Right on.
the concept is just this. I don't care what kind of policy you use.
Right.
Whole life, VUL, traditional UL does not matter, right? When you have a mortgage, right? It starts way up here, your balance, right? You have 100,000 more, whatever comes down. Every time you make a payment, it goes down a little bit, right? So over time, it keeps dropping down until it's paid off and you go zero here. That's how a mortgage works,
Yep.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Life insurance is the exact opposite. If you make a premium payment, what happens? Our value goes up.
Mhm.
So over the concept is this: every premium payment, your value goes up. There's a point in time in the future where the policy is worth more than what you own the mortgage.
Where they meet.
That's usually 5 to 15 years early. All right. If you're using a whole life, 5 to 7, typically, depending on the policy, depending on the money they have put away. IUL, 7 to 12, 7 to 15 years early, with a good market. And that's the basic concept.
Yeah.
I can show you how to build this. And I don't talk about life insurance. I don't talk about if you had a tax-free vehicle that could do this, would you want to know how? Or that would be what you want to do.
Nice.
When Lou built this concept, built the training on this concept, the concept not new, it's been around for 100 years, of paying the home off early. But when Lou when Lou went from being a salesperson to being a manager for MetLife, he took over one of the worst branches in the state in Port St. Lucie, Florida. All right. When he left, they were top 3 in the industry and with MetLife. Okay. Now, over that 15-year, 10-year period we were there, he hired 23 brand new agents. All right. Every one of them started with this concept. All right. 23 were hired, 18 are still in the business today, all making between $250,000 to $500,000 a year. That was the last number I heard. Now, again, this is some years ago. The average agent we hire was about in their 40s, so a lot of these guys are retired now. I know some of them passed. I know one of my dear friends that I became friend with his family. I dated his daughter. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he was the top guy. He was making over $500,000 a year, working 20 hours a week.
Wow.
Okay. Now he got to a point where he's still out of this concept. It's a straight starting point, but as you learn, you can start getting retirement planning conversations. You can start scaling up dramatically from there. And my average guy's cases I build cases for is between $600 and $1,000 a month on average.
Mm.
All right. Now on the life side, on the annuity side, we're doing 250 to up to $500,000 in annuity premium on average for income planning, for different stuff. So again, as you scale up and learn these questions, this is the starting point. The sky's the limit on where you can get to.
Sure
Right.
sounds like.
Go ahead.
No, I said sure sounds like I'm pumped up all over again.
That's the idea. Again, be pumped up, be energetic, have fun with this. Yeah, it's a career, yeah, it's a business, yeah, it's a job, but I find when I get low, right? When we'll have our low spots where we're just feeling we can't do anything right, we can't, try to avoid that, and just have fun with this. And make it a game, and that's one thing I did early on, because I hated feeling I had to work, that I had to prospect, that I had to. I hate prospecting. I absolutely hate it with a passion. But going and create conversations is fun. It's just, I have Seth joining engineering groups. I have guys who do BNI, Toastmasters. I have guys that just do like I do when I'm bowling. I do when I go to the grocery store. Again, I coached baseball for a long time. So a lot of times I know from baseball. A lot of my clients are from baseball families. Because it's conversations at the field. Now, I don't do it to have conversations. I don't do it to make money. I do it to help the kids. I love coaching baseball.
Mhm.
But when people ask, what do you do to have the conversation? I was sitting at the tryouts for, this is back for the high school team. I was sitting in the bleachers watching my son try out. And two of the guys to my next to me were sitting there having a conversation about their 401k. So I asked a few questions, about their 401ks, about where they work and so forth. And I met up with both of them, sitting in the bleachers.
Mhm.
I don't care where I am. I try to have fun. Again, even if I can't make the appointment, I want to leave them with something they can't deny. Something that's going to change their thought process. And I'm going to break their thought process. And again, a lot of times, I got to call back the next week. You were talking about that. I want to learn more about what you're talking about. You throw out, hey, if you invest your money in a 7702 policy product, you can get all your proceeds tax-free, never tax on them again. They get stuck in your people's heads. But again, it's ask questions. Ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. When you do that effectively, the sky is the absolute limit.
Right.
I've had a guy years ago, wasn't even the insurance business. He found our website, I found an article about closing sales, right? And this article is still up on the website today. It was from 2003, 2004, three tips of closing sales. It's the page that's the most traffic on my site to this day, almost over 20 years later now. And so this guy found us on off of Google or Yahoo or whatever. He called me and said, I have an odd question. I'm like, okay, I deal with odd questions all day long. I'm not an insurance guy. I'm like, okay, why the hell are you calling me then? Because I sell cable. I sell cable door to door, cable TV network and stuff. And he goes, I'm struggling mightily. Do you think your videos will help me? I said, absolutely. Again, if you ask the right questions, doesn't matter. So he bought the system, he watched it, and he's like, okay, how do I apply this? Because it's a different, he's like, I understand life insurance. I want to sell life insurance now, so I like the videos you sent me. But I started this cable thing. I said, okay, so how do we apply it? So let's look at some of the problems your product solves for people. It was a newer cable company trying to usurp Xfinity, it was in Florida or whatnot, or Delphia back then. And so I'm like, okay, well, what problems do you solve? Well, we have, you know, more fiber optic networks. We have a better network of cables that transmit the data more. Okay, people don't care about that, whatever. We offered, you know, internet speeds at half the cost. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. Good to start. Went through the products he offered, so, and did some coaching on it. And now when I left Florida back then, he became one of the top national, the top sales guy for, I think it was Charter or AT&T in Florida,
No.
because he learned to ask the questions. Doing like I told, oh, sorry. I taught Ryan and Ray. That's two of my top agents. They're absolutely rock stars up in Chicago and in Iowa. They're doing so while they're buying other businesses. All right. So Ryan was telling me the other day, you know, he bought a Batteries Plus franchise that was help them use some of their spare income they didn't want to pay taxes on to build the business. They're very smart tax people too, right? And so he bought this Batteries Life Plus. He hired a salesman that had a lot of experience, but he was not making sales. So Ryan went in and said, okay. He said he had a Jeremy moment with his agent and talked about asking questions, and taught him 5 questions he could ask these commercial trucking companies, fleet vehicles, to ask that would help them see the problem where our batteries would help them. And he was selling maybe 1 out of 10 before. Now he's selling 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10. Because he learned to ask them better questions. Selling batteries of all things. You know, truck batteries to big trucking companies. You know, those are huge contracts. You know, so again, it works in any facet. Mortgages, banking, any kind of insurance industry, final plus Medicare, health insurance, DI, annuities, investments, mortgage markets. I mean, I've taught, you know, 20 people of the years, different markets, and even the ones that fizzled out in insurance, because not everybody succeeds in insurance. It's a hard business. You know, I have an 85% success rate of training agents in this business. It's one of the highest in the industry. Has been for a long time. But there's 15% that don't do well in insurance. But they do other places. One of my agents, Holly, I taught her to ask questions 8-9 years ago. She had a really bad case. She screwed something up mightily for the client, and it cost her license, her insurance license. Okay. It was a blunder on her part. She mismarked a box. It was supposed to be qualified. It went in non-qualified. The client ended up owing $35,000 in taxes. She just quit. She gave up. Okay.
Wow.
So now she's one of the top commercial loan brokers in the country. Because she's still, I talked to her today. She's still asking questions. She's at least when I taught her, you know, and even in the email I got from her, it was all questions about how capital helped my business. So she's learned, and it is taken off because of that. So it doesn't matter what you do.
To ask the right questions.
Ask the right questions, you can make this opportunity for a sale. Even ask dumb questions. You know, one of the things I learned from my dad is the Columbo approach to everything. And if you have not watched Columbo, if you're too young for Columbo, go look it up on YouTube. Columbo was a stumbling, bumbling detective that was stupid as hell.
Yeah, I know Columbo. I was watching it last night.
I grew up watching with Lou, and you know, it was you could play the dumbest character, you can play the dumbest thing, but if you ask questions, you can make people think you're brilliant in minutes. You know, people want to say, well, I want to, I'm knowledgeable. I want to interject my knowledge and tell them how knowledgeable I am. I get them to feel how knowledgeable I am. And if you come overbearing like that, like I have one guy who's a CFP, CLU, CHFC, CFP, works in my office, big alphabet guy. He only sold 2 cases a year. They're bigger cases, but it was all because his knowledge. He pushed knowledge on people to say, I got all these degrees, I can help you with your estate plan, blah, 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 blah. He never learned how to ask questions. Now, the guy on the office across the hall had 0 designations, made $1 million a year. His name was Adrian, right? Had no degrees, didn't even have a college degree, making $1 million a year, but he learned to ask questions. So
Big
the guy that has
difference.
all the stuff made about 300,000 a year on his 2 cases. Adrian made about over $1 million, working like 50 or 60 cases a year. He
Yeah,
learned
sound
to ask questions.
sound
Go
like
ahead,
his ego. Yeah.
Yeah. Asking questions is key to everything. It opens up the doors. You know, I have 2 guys in the estate planning side of it. You know, how many questions do you guys ask during the interviews? You know, how important are those questions? You know, questions open the door and it creates opportunities. You know, I told you earlier, but I taught 76 years old, retired, talking to a nurse. He had his cancer's back again, unfortunately. And talking to the nurse, at the doctor's office, waiting to be seen. Talking about her retirement plan. You know, find out she's a 403B through the hospital. They don't match it. They don't contribute to it. How much better off if you could put that money into a vehicle that get market returns on downside risk, and it could create guaranteed income for you for your future. Easy appointment. Just talking to people. Again, we spend thousands of dollars on doing leads, doing drop shipping, where we could be the top agent in the country working within 5 miles of our home or office. I don't venture from here.
It's like acres of diamonds, right?
It's the truth. If you haven't read it, Acres of Diamonds is a book you have to read.
Yeah.
Another book you have to read is Selling the Invisible by Harry
Which-
Beckwith.
Selling the who?
Selling the Invisible,
Selling the invisible. By who?
Harry Beckwith.
Harry Beckwith.
I'm doing a class on it Thursday.
Oh,
Okay.
be there.
Yeah. Again, it's awesome. It's awesome when you learn. Again, we are selling the invisible to people. They can't. Immediately they can't use this life insurance unless they die. Or something they can't use. They can't smell, see, taste, or touch to the future. We're selling them a picture of the future. How do we sell that effectively?
The book that I liked was Ben Feldman in an area of only 25,000 people, right? And everybody talks about, well, I live in a city of 1 million or 800,000 people, but I can't find a single person. Well, Ben Feldman lived in an area of only 25,000 people, and he utilized that and became the greatest insurance salesman in the world for his time. And that's what I found impressive was, how can a guy that only has 25,000 people sell so much? Because there's only 25,000 people.
What book was that? Joseph?
It's a green book that I
Um,
forgot the title.
I
The
got
Ben
it.
Fel- Yeah. Yeah, it's a green book thing. I got that recommendation, I think, from Lou and Jeremy, and then I bought it
That one.
myself and I read it.
Oh, the
That's it.
Feldman Method. Awesome.
Yes, awesome book. A great read. It's not. It's only like 150 pages at best, 200 pages. But again, a lot of these books we read,
What's the name of that, Jeremy?
the Feldman Method.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yep, it's a great book. And again, it's all these stuff. Some of the stuff he talks about back then is not going to be applicable today. Some of it is, some of it's not. But
The logic.
the logic is there. And again, if you I tell everybody, any training you can do, whether it's from me, from Lou, from Sid Walker, from Sandy Schussel, from Tom Love, from Randall Baxter, all these different coaches and gurus, if you could just learn one nugget from each of them, it's going to make you successful.
Beautiful.
Not one coach is the end all be all. Oh yeah, Frank Becker's book. What copy here? I collect these books. I love these things. This one too. How to
Yeah.
Financial Success.
Yeah,
I have
Great
that.
book, great book.
I
Yeah.
took that book away for years. Anybody bought
Yeah.
a system got a copy of this book.
Yeah,
Because it is great. All these things you can learn from these stories, these historical documents. You know, Charlie Jones says the only thing that changes you, that changes a person, are the people you meet and the books you read.
Mm.
All right. I'm not a big reader. I'm slow as hell when it comes to reading, and it's getting worse. My eyes are bad now. But you know, the more you read, the more you educate yourself. You know, if you hang on be around the right people, you know, like Charlie says, if you hang around a bunch of thumb sucking crybabies, you become a thumb sucking crybaby. If you hang around, if you want to hang around successful people, you be successful yourself. You know, so you know, I know our group is growing every week. It's a little bigger, new people coming in. You know, be a part of it. That the group setting we have for the trainings we do on Thursdays, one, they are a lot of times hella fun. I enjoy myself. We argue, we curse sometimes. Um, you know, we get on political rants. You know, but again, it's fun. It's a fun little group. We have great conversations. We talk a lot. We share a lot of information, and it's valuable. You know, again, if you can learn one nugget from each class, one new way to ask a question, one new way to present a case, one new sales concept, it's only going to help you grow that much more. But again, so two things to take away today: ask questions and have fun. Don't be so uptight. You know,
And you know what, Jeremy, I found interesting in your why I like your class too is because not just us guys that don't know what we're doing, but you get the guys that do know and the highly successful ones, like the names you said, like
Mhm.
Kevin, the firefighter, came
Yep.
by the last meeting. He had questions because, you know, he had some, I guess, challenges for his own thing. So he brought it up, which is great questions because it taught us stuff that what could come up for ourselves, as well as the two guys that you mentioned. They stop by every so often as well,
Yep.
too, with their questions
Yep.
and input. So, you know, and you get other guys as well. I think Antonio came by. What? Tony Filipponi came
Tony,
by
yep.
once or twice
Mhm.
and imparted his stuff. And I mean, these are like some of the best guys in the whole business
Yep.
that'll come by and they'll say a few words here and there. And they're human beings too, you know. They have questions. They got, you know, they're stuck at times. And
Oh, yeah.
that's what I like about it is that, you know, these guys are doing huge volumes. They're some of the best in the business, and yet, hey, you know what? They still come to you.
No, I mean, again, everybody's learning from everybody. You know, and again, I go to classes all the time too. You know, I'm learning from my coaches. I go talk to Sandy. I go talk to Tom Love. I talk with Van, and I learn new stuff, and I impart stuff on them too. You know, and again, the better we get as coaches, the better we can become teachers for you guys, and the more you learn, the more, you know, we share a lot of the same messages with all the coaches. Ask questions, find ways to help people solve problems. Maybe different paths, but it's all going to help the people, and that's the end goal. We want to help clients. We want to help the prospects really get what they want, get what they need, help serve them. You know, we serve the masses. You know, I teach in my boot camp class. You know, look at the top companies in the world. Or what is one of the top companies in the world? Let me ask you that.
You mean life insurance companies?
Just what's one of the top consumer companies in the world?
IBM,
Apple,
IBM, Apple, Walmart, McDonald's.
McDonald's,
Yeah.
Who do they
Boy,
serve?
Home
people,
Depot,
They serve
Lowe's.
the masses of
the
people.
masses, the
Okay.
masses.
Mm.
All right. So I think I can't remember the exact quote. And it's not with me today. If you serve the masses, you'll live with the classes. If you serve the classes, you'll live with the masses. And a lot of agents are going after what right now? The high end
The classes,
the
the
classes.
rich guys.
classes. They're going after that huge, with all, $200,000 more in investable assets and crap. They're going after those high end clients. And again, and where do they end up living?
With the masses.
With the masses. Now, the guys like Ryan and Ray, when they first started, who did they serve? The
The
masses.
middle
Masses.
class man.
Now they serve the classes, but they're there. The classes serve the classes now. They made it to that point, which is rare, but not unheard of. But if you serve the masses of people, again, what's the biggest market that's not being served today?
The masses.
The middle income family,
Middle America.
middle
Yeah.
America. And I'm not talking middle American families. I'm talking middle America in general. People that are from 0 to 99 years old, and that are middle income are not being served. They're not being helped,
Yeah, that's true.
and we're drowning. Debt, cost of living. Our paychecks being eroded. We're all right there, paycheck to paycheck. One disaster, one extra bill from financial disaster, but no one's helping them. I won't say no one. There is a subsection that's actually helping them. As people I teach, because it is the most underserved market. I am 47. I turned 47 last Friday.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
I
belated
noticed
birthday.
that, Jeremy, and you just reminded me. I was going to tell you, you and my daughter born on the same day. I said, how about that?
I love it. Love it. But I'm smack dab in the prime demographic here where I live. My house value, my income, everything I do, right, is smack dab in the middle. My income will be a little bit higher than the average family here. But I've been contacted by one agent. I've had 5 different insurance companies with agents in my last 18 years here, 19 years here. Only one of the 5's contacted me for life insurance. And that was an automated process through Allstate. All right. My neighbors, I asked them the other day, because they're a little younger than me. They're in their 30s as they just bought the house. And I just said, out of curiosity, has an agent ever contacted you, a life insurance agent? No. I get mail. I get mail with these different, more protection letters. Yeah, I get about 1,000 of them, right? Yeah. And they're smacked out in the income too. He's a paramedic, runs a lawn company. He makes good money. His wife's home. She's disabled. She's a carbon copy of my wife, unfortunately. But no one's serving these people. No one's going after this market. I don't know if they're afraid of the people or what, but our families, they need guidance. What's being taught today in school does not help our kids.
Nothing.
Kids
Nada.
graduate high school, can't even balance a checkbook. Like I told my daughter getting her first job. She gets her paycheck, and she asked me, who is FICA and why they got all my money? That's sad. So we need to be educating people. I know one of the guys I'm talking to when I'm coaching Jim. He's not on the call today. He teaches a basic financial class. He gets people to show up to a workshop to learn financial basics. Pay yourself first. How to balance a checkbook. Some basic financial principles you need to learn. And he's filling rooms. You're not getting appointments yet, but I need to work with him some more on the questions. But you can teach a class based just on that and get people there. I have a whole system that talks about how to help middle income families plan for retirement, called File Money Management. And it goes through every step you need to know to help an average family plan for retirement. And it's just that simple. If you ask the questions, learn a few concepts, and really target your market. I care about my middle income family. I am very compassionate towards the situation. I lived there for a long time. Okay. And I know the struggles. I see what my kids are going through today. My oldest kid is turning 30 this year. Right. He's making good money. He's been made $70,000 the last 3 or 4 years as a worker, as a doing tower and sub installation, doing marble work and so forth.
So you just turned 30. You started at 17 years old.
He did, yeah. I started at 17 in the business. He started doing concrete work and marble at 18, 19.
No, I said you started at 17,
Yeah.
Hank. There you go.
Yep. And did this a long time. And I owe it all to asking questions. And it's just by learning that.
Nice.
A huge difference. And when I started learning different sales concepts, I taught myself how to do taxes. So I recommend anybody who's going to be doing more middle America learn how to take an H&R block tax course, do some TurboTax training, go through and read each step of the tax return and learn basic payroll, basic income tax planning for your state, because you can save people money all over the place. File money management takes it a step further beyond the asking the question. It shows you how to reallocate people's money, how to find different areas they can put money away. And when you can do that, you can help people move 401ks, IRAs, 403bs. You can get them to stop funding that crap and put money in the IUL, whole life, extra mortgage payments, tax returns, all kinds of different things you can do by having, hell, even the simplest thing in the world that I use a lot for people is their internet and cable bills. Right? I had a client, this is a couple of years ago now, but they were paying like $250 a month for cable and internet and phone service. And they're strapped for cash. They can't afford to put in money. They couldn't afford a term policy. So I helped them reallocate, help them change their cable, internet, and phones, keep the same services. And it went down from $250 to $99 a month or something. So free like $180, $100 a month they could put away. Every 2 years with cable companies, you can switch services and your bill will drop by 30-40%. People cut the cord, get away from the cable services. How many people actually need landlines now? We all have cell phones. Even our babies have cell phones. They're like born with them, I swear.
Yeah.
It's not something. It's not something. It's an iPad. It's bigger than a cell phone for them. All my granddaughters have them. So again, you just learn to different areas and look at your own situation. Every agent I talk to, one of we do is do a fact find with the agent on their personal situation. I meet with wives, I meet with agents, I meet with husbands, and go over their personal situation. I one recently, they were putting tons of money into a 401k. By the time I'm done with them on what they're doing, they already moved the money to an annuity. They had a couple $100,000 sitting in the savings account doing nothing. Move that to an annuity. We're going to set up a $2,000 a month policy IUL on him. By moving money over the 401k, just by looking at what they're matching, what they're not matching, looking at other options they have, other businesses they have, and finding a better way to help them. There's always a better way. That's all I have. We're well past the 45-minute mark we have for this class. But like always, I get talking. If you come to our classes on Thursdays, you'll see that I will talk till 5:30, some days 6. I think our record is 3.5 hours in one class.
This Thursday, Jeremy?
Yeah, Thursday at 3 o'clock for members.
Okay. That's 12 o'clock my time. Okay.
Yeah. And it's on the Invisible this week. They're fun classes. You learn a lot. It's well worth the $40 a month. I know some of my guys again, once you're in the program, you're locked in at your rate. It will never go up. So I have some guys that are still paying $9.95 a month for the service from way back, and they're locked in. So again, I don't see a price increase in the future right now. But end of the year, I might go up to $49.95 a month, but you're locked in. It never changes for you as long as you get before that price change. So that's all I have. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to give me a call anytime. I'm always available for you guys, and you guys make it a great day.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Have a good one, guys.
Great stuff. Catch you on Thursday. See ya.
Yep.
Bye.